agenda, just to update you, obviously the Mayor's Cup was not successful for Comox this year, but it was a great success for the kids sport. Over $5,500 was raised, and we had a lot of fun. And although we lost by a large score, we all had smiles at the end with that in mind. So we will be raising the flag over Town Hall from Courtney. Figure maybe April 1st might be a good day to do that. And, we can't do it right now, obviously, because of the half-massing for the victims of the Brussels. So with that in mind, I just would like to have a moment of silence for that and carry on with the meeting. So just think about the victims in Brussels. All right, so CEO, you're going to have to take a picture at some point of me sharing this meeting with that, so I can show it to my counterpart. With that in mind, we'll move to adoption of the agenda. And all those in favor? Motion's carried. Amy, Yak Mission?
Yes, you got it.
Excellent. The Comox Seniors Association, welcome, and if you could come to the podium, and that's to your right there, and you can make your presentation.
It's okay, with your permission.
Yes.
I'd rather be here because I have stuff.
All right. The only thing is we don't have our microphone set up very close to
Okay,
that.
so I will deliver and then...
Yeah, we can pass the stuff around if you wish. Thanks.
Okay. I did... The question is, have you already received a full spiel?
Yes. We have your course, or Mike's
So I'll
correspondence.
take this one. Thank you.
The letter from Mike, we got that.
Mike Corkish
Yes.
is the chair of
Yes,
Comox
well,
Seniors.
yeah, we have that letter on our agenda.
And Wendy Prothero is here as well. You might recognize Wendy as the lady that rides the bike around in the
Never seen her.
yellow jacket. Okay, so if I'm here and or close to the microphone, that's what you want then.
Well, it's also where the camera's pointed and things like that. So.
Oh, on camera. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's not live. It's on. It'll be streamed on the web.
So what I've done is pick up some bus timetables, and I've marked them that indicate what I'm requesting changes for. Please take one and take it over where the map is. And for you, I want these ones back because I've put the information on them. And I've also, Wendy, do you have these out? Giving each one of you your own, so that when you have a minute or three, you can look at this bus guide and say, well, now I live here, and I want to go there. How do I get there? And then the question is, how do I get home? So that's the little bit that goes with the visual that goes with what you've already read. First, thank you for allowing us to present this information about bus service improvements. We request that you support these improvements, number one, and number two, write letters or however you make information available to the Comox Valley Regional District and to the BC Transit requesting the following additional services. I started this back in April 2014. There was a transit survey, contacted them, sent my information, and I sent it to all the town councils and some particular councillors. Of course, we've had elections since, so some may have had that information and some that might be new to you. And then, looking on the internet, the Comox Valley Transit Future Plan was adopted in November 2014, and it didn't have any of these suggestions. And it was interesting meeting Mike, and he said, yeah, my wife and I suggested too that we needed a bus to come down and go for Town Hall, Senior Center, Library. And of course, this doesn't make sense really until you realize that, my goodness, I have a friend who said, I can no longer get to the library. And I think to myself, what? I can't get to the Seniors Association anymore. I used to go for lunch. I had friendship interactions with people. So excuse my voice. I've already discussed these improvements with Mayor Larry Janger, Mike Zabarski, manager of transit, Comox Valley Regional District. Mark Grant and I met, and the Comox Seniors Board. And firstly, what I have here is information that people, when we are talking about it, these are real situations for people. It's not just, oh, we need to improve transit. That doesn't do anything. But saying, what could help, what we need. I'm not going to drive forever. I'm going to use the buses, and friends of mine are already doing that. And then they're saying, but now I can't, or I have to, or this kind of thing. The professional services I go to are in, some of them are in Courtney. There's North Island College, the recreation centers, the Sid Williams, Florence Filbert, Rialto Theatre, Lewis Center. You know, how do we get back and forth, and particularly getting back later on in the afternoon and evening. Secondly, the suggestions could encourage other people to reduce driving, less pollution, and maybe no third bridge. Yeah. Thirdly, increased ridership would increase the support for the system. So the big one is, I could not believe that there wasn't bus service down to the senior center. If you want to go to Evergreen Seniors, the bus goes right there, it's flat, you walk in, there's an elevator. If you want to go up or down, yes, there's an elevator here too. But you have to get down these two hills. So, suggestion. There is a stop before you get to the Legion, and there's one after Smitty's. So, bring the bus down Church, cross here, back up Norden to the other one. Don't have to change anything on Comox Avenue because there aren't any stops in the middle there. Bringing it down gives town of Comox, you know, you might want a few people, more people to be able to come and pay their taxes. And the senior center, and the number of things that go on in the senior center, I picked up the news bulletin. It is 7 days a week. Even Sunday there's something on. And there are some evening things. Now, that brings me to number 2 on the list. Let's do this one first. Reroute it onto Beaufort. And then the rest. Now, another one for Comox is, if you turn to your booklet that I marked up for number 3, Comox number 3, it's on page 4, but it's bus number 3. And if you look down A, Comox number 3A at 6:55, and then you go across, it finishes at 7:06. Well, isn't that nice? Except it finishes Midtown. It doesn't go past St. Joe's, the 2 apartment blocks, the 3 condominiums, and all the houses that are down that end. So the story that goes with that, a woman was at St. Joe's for a heart program. She could get there, she could get there by bus, but she couldn't get home again. Because now on number 4, when she could get the bus, now we're looking at bus number 4 down J, the hospital at 8:33, she can get the bus, takes her to 4th and Cliff, and then you'll notice the bus that she should catch to get home into the other area of Courtney left at 8:20. So there needs to be another loop on that, and you think to yourself, well, that's a Courtney issue. No, it isn't. It's a whole valley issue because there's St. Joe's and all the things that go on. Even though we have different town names, we live and go back and forth with all of them. Going back to number 3, the bus service finishes at 7:06. And some of you will know Joy and Bill Jorgensen, George's son. Bill unfortunately died a couple of years ago, but they started Therapeutic Gardens. And Joy doesn't drive, never has. She's been a bus person forever. So she came over here to town to go to an event, and she got here by bus. She's been busing for quite a while. She couldn't get home. Home's just down the other side of St. Joe's, because that bus doesn't continue on in the evening. So here again, simple request, keep the bus going a bit longer. Now, Headquarters Road, this is really the one that really started me, because a friend, Merle Botham, lived over by the old Brooklyn School on Brook Place. She used the buses all the time. Went to Casaloma. Oh, this is great. There's buses going back and forth on Headquarters Road all day. There are no stops on Headquarters Road. People in Casaloma Seniors Village, Maple Pool do not have bus stops along there so they can use the service and get to Fourth and Cliff and go everywhere else. And you say, well, Castle Loma has its own bus. Yes, that is only for residents. What about the friends that would have gone to visit with Merle? They don't drive. How are they going to get there? They can't. There isn't bus service in terms of stopping. So it's a matter of working that so that there will be stops along there. And then I couldn't understand why the Maple Pool people wouldn't have access to transportation a little bit closer to where they live. So something we can do for those people. I've given you a really quick run through. One of the things that I would like, and I was looking at this with my grandson the other day in this little book, because he has a friend, he goes to school on this side and he wants to go to that side, and we're flipping pages. The 2013 bus schedule was a one sheet with a beautiful big map. So when I was talking with Mike Zabarski about it, he said, oh yeah, people didn't like the big one, it ripped it, did this and the other. Well, I tell you, it's a lot easier to use than the flipping pages here. And drawing white lines and yellow lines and red lines, and this is where you start. Anyway, that's a little bit of my spiel. So the request is, please, will you support these small additions to the bus system? It is currently under review. You probably know much more about the timeline in terms of budgeting and when things are going to happen, but it is apparently for 2017.
Yes.
There's a plan.
Yeah, I would imagine that the budget for this year's transit has already been established. It has to be adopted by the 31st.
Or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow, yeah. So, you know, these are level of service issues that the regional board deals with as part of the transit function. So essentially all we can do is pass this on to them in terms of information. You've obviously done that already directly, and the level of service and the hours in operation would be determined by the transit function. So if there's any questions that members of council have from this commission, go ahead.
Yeah, and thank you, and you've certainly done a very thorough job, and making it usable is what makes it work. In your application to be a presenter, you also mentioned about the value of having timetables at the bus stops. Do you see that, you know, at every bus stop, you think that would increase?
Wendy, do you want to speak about the, or I'll just speak if you wish. Yes, because people come to the shelters, the ones that are enclosed, not just the poles, and they want to know when are the buses coming. Wendy, it's your story. Oh, come here, please, because the microphone's here.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, we've heard this before, and Wendy's brought it up before. Obviously, there's challenges with things like vandalism. We're trying to go more paperless, of course. I don't know the Transit Authority. You'll be sitting the regional board to discuss that. You can figure out whether that's appropriate. So is there actually, I mean, it's been pointed out in their presentation. I don't think there's anything more to say about it.
It was actually, that was the only area that we actually have some control, well, apart from where the bus shelters are, because I have raised it at the regional district, and I was told it was a municipal issue that we were the ones who would put them up or not.
And that's what I've been told when I was just asking about this, that the regional district determines the budgets and the big routes, and the towns decide where the bus stops are. And what Wendy has done on her own initiative is had a lot of the bus rider guides and tape them up in different shelters. So people, from one of the people, they had met people at a bus stop, when is the bus coming, is it not? The others had visitors from Europe. How do I find out about the buses?
Well, I know that in Europe, for example, they don't post schedules. You just, I mean, they come by so frequently, you don't need them, right? So where you find that information is online, and most people traveling have smartphones and they look that way. I can't speak to what we will do here, but staff have indicated we'll talk to the regional district.
I should just point out one thing that I did notice the other day, that both the shelters at the Comox Mall, I gotta give them credit, like on Comox Avenue, I noticed the other day, they've got plasticized, enclosed covered schedules just been put up at the one, both of the shelters on Comox Avenue. I don't know about the hospital, the enclosed shelters there, and I've talked to the regional district about it before myself, but it's starting, and I think anything that you folks can do to encourage them, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Councillor Grant.
Yeah, so I think what we can do here is, this will go back to the regional district, and Barbara and I are both on the transit thing at the regional district. I don't personally know the intricacies of changing routes and timing and all of those things, but what we can do is certainly bring your concerns to the table and let the experts tell us if there's any way of making that work. I mean, it seems relatively simple to bring the bus down here. I don't know if that's the case or not. So we'll certainly bring your concerns and let them have a look at it and see what the logistics are doing that.
Any further questions, Councillor Grant?
Just a quick one, Amy. Good to see you again. Thank you. And an excellent presentation, thank you. What's next? Trying to make it as brief as possible because I know we have a time restraint, but
When I was talking with Mike Zabarski, I was just an individual, and he said that's not necessarily going to do it. It has to be groups. It has to. They have to hear that there are people that are concerned, that people that want this.
Well, obviously, this letter is written on behalf of the association, so that should be sufficient.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so you can tell them how many people on your association membership and that you're supported by that.
And of course, there are other citizens groups. And when Mike was talking also, he said there's one of the things we could do is have bus advocates. And people could say, okay, let's go and ride the buses for a week. And maybe they, regional district, would provide bus passes for that short time. So there could be a real, promote more riding on the buses.
The other thing, too, you could ask to appear as a delegation at the committee of the whole of the regional district. That may be also more effective.
That's good, yeah.
Good, okay.
Any further questions? Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
You can have your bus schedules back.
Yes. Doctor, please, and use them next time. Keep the blank one, but give me back the one with name on it.
Yeah, your name's on these.
Okay, I have 4, 5, 6.
You gotta be crisp if you don't.
Thank you very much for letting us know.
No problem.
Thank you, Amy.
We have a planning procedures amendment bylaw recommendation report to go with that. So the recommendation is that the bylaw amendment be given first, second, and third reading.
I'll move that.
Second. A discussion. This is a memo from staff, planning staff on some updates suggested for our planning procedures, and there's principally 5 of them there as outlined in the report. Planner and staff are here. So if there's any questions or comments that you would like to make to staff, they're certainly here to answer any questions. I don't believe there's any specific presentation at this point. Anything to add, Planner?
Nope.
Okay. Councillors? So some fine tuning on neighborhood consultation, notification of residential tenants on any kind of strata conversion. So we haven't had one of those for a while. Others to do with reduced costs on the DV development variance permit applications, and then a slight charge for title searches. And I think that's it. So if this motion passes, it will go to the next council meeting, I believe, in April. So all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. And then we have a letter for receipt from the seniors association. Thank you. And you'll see that has been copied already to various parties, including the regional district manager. Again, the representatives from this council who sit on the regional district will be discussing that at some point in the near future. So all those in favor then? Motion carried. And unless there's anything further, I think that's our agenda for the motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor? Motion's carried.